Hey guys, what is going on? This is your old pal CHH, and today's review is one of the more frustrating reviews I've ever had to do. This is a movie that I absolutely adore, and it's a shame that it took this long to get it right. Now, the movie we're talking about is Tobe Hooper's most ambitious, crazy, and drug-fueled, and I mean that literally, movie of all time. I'm talking about 1985's Lifeforce. Now, this is a canon film on top of everything I just said. So take everything I just said and multiply it times 2. So when I say crazy, drug-fueled, wacky, it's all of that. Lifeforce is a movie that you would not suspect to be as crazy as it is. I mean, the title is a little inconspicuous. Lifeforce. What is that? Is it an action film? Is it a science fiction film? I don't know that you would even think it would be a horror movie, especially not at first hearing the title, Lifeforce. It's not really a title that even grabs you that much. Lo and behold, I started learning about canon films, and I learned that, of course, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 was a canon film, and Tobe did 3 canon movies. He did Texas Chainsaw 2, he did a movie called Invaders from Mars, which Manam Golan hated, and his craziest of all 3, Lifeforce. Now, there's stories about not only Tobe doing cocaine on set, but half of the cast and crew were just blazed and just coked out of their minds the whole time making this. So then that gets into the question, what the hell is Lifeforce? Lifeforce is an apocalyptic space, almost zombie, vampire, body-snatching movie. It's all of that. It's crazy. The plot is even a little difficult to explain, but I'll do my best to just make it as easy as I can. So you've got this space exploration group that's going into Halley's Comet when they find this spaceship deep into Halley's Comet, and there are 3 naked bodies in these glass caskets, basically. Now, one of these bodies is that of the legend Matilda May. Guys, I'm going to let you know right now, or ladies that are into ladies, Matilda May is one of the most beautiful human beings you'll ever see in your entire life. She just is. And I gotta say, Matilda is one of the baddest women I've ever seen. Because to do this movie, I mean, she was just straight up naked for most of it, if not all of it. And I mean naked. You get a full shot of her in the beginning of the movie. To do this movie, she had to be so confident and so sure of herself and so... that was difficult. I'm not trying to sound like that guy, but I do think that the performance really required that of these characters, these vampires, these humanoids, if you will, that they walk around just naked and that they're really not human-like. They don't act very normal. So it works in the movie is what I'm saying. She is a bad woman. I give her so much credit for doing this movie and doing it the way she did it. Every guy that sees Matilda, they're just struck by her, but she starts sucking the life out of people. And there's this great, almost zombie-like, petrified wood-looking image of this guy. Has this crazy look. It's one of my favorite images from horror in general. Obviously, from this point on, shit hits the fan. Okay? Before we know it, this movie turns into a crazed apocalyptic London with bodies and bats and beasts. It gets crazy. But this movie has such a really good cast. And it's not even necessarily that it's a bunch of people that I know, but the performances in here are so great. There's a palpable anxiety-inducing stress in Lifeforce that goes throughout the entire film that I love so much. I don't know if I think this is Tobe's best film. Of course, I think it's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But Lifeforce is one of those movies that just happens to happen when a director can just do what he wants and they just keep giving him money. They were for sure that Tobe was going to have a hit, basically, that Menahem just kept feeding him cash. And to Menahem's credit, he loves movies more than money, which is why Canon shoved out so many movies and just went for it. The movie obviously underperformed, and it cost a fortune, and I mean a fortune, but you see it on screen, and Lifeforce has become a cult hit since then. Do think it's the most daring of any Canon film, much less any of Tobe's Canon films. If you're going to ask me what's some of the best Canon movies, Lifeforce is at the top of the list. So I recommend the movie every day until Christmas. And the thing I recommend the most is the international cut, because all that extra footage is definitely worth the viewing. None of it to me is filler. It's all killer. I love this movie. I will say, though, it may not be for everybody, but most of you watching this, I think it's safe to say that it probably is for you. Let's get into why I say this is the most frustrating review of all time. So, how did I first see Lifeforce? I went to FYE years ago, and I picked up this steelbook. Great looking steelbook, right? I mean, I like it a lot. And I enjoyed the movie, and it looked really good. The one thing I'm going to say about this is I am not going to disparage the picture quality on any of these 3 releases. They're all really good. The problem is we deserved something that wasn't done in the first place. So I'm not going to say, hooray, Arrow Video, they're the best, they're awesome, thank you. No. This should have been done already. It's the release we should have gotten, not even deserved. But my point is, I watched the movie, I fall in love with it, and I'm like, I am going to watch this frequently. I need to see this as high quality as possible because this is cinematic magic, and it is. I didn't do any research when this came out. I wasn't really doing a lot of the physical media updates on my channel at this point. I wasn't staying on top of things. I was just kind of going blindly still into physical media collecting, which sometimes I still do, but I'm a lot better at not doing that. So then I pick up this, the Scream Factory 4K release of Lifeforce. And to my chagrin, I get this thing, look at the back, the blood ran out of me when I realized the director's cut was just a Blu-ray. This is the worst period of Scream Factory in my opinion. They've gotten better now. A lot of people have voiced their opinions and said, hey, we deserve better. And now we're seeing them say, okay, if there's a director's cut, we're going to put it out. Like Land of the Dead, I give them credit. They did the right thing on that release. I understand Land of the Dead's not for everybody, but watch my review. They did a 4K, actual 4K of both the theatrical and the director's cut. At this time, I think Scream Factory felt like they could do no wrong, and what the hell, they're going to buy it anyway. Which, if that's the case, I fell victim to that, but I was pissed. I mean, it's not the point that that Blu-ray looked bad, but guys, this is a 4K release of a cult classic. You got to put the scans out right. So that brings us to this. Now, I am happy that I have this, and I am grateful that Arrow did this, but my point is, it's pathetic that this has to happen. I had to buy this movie on 4K twice before it finally got right. Now, this is, in my opinion, the creme de la creme of Lifeforce physical media. It is better than this release, of course, because of the actual cuts being proper on here. So I was super happy when this came out, and I don't know how many people are going to review this, so I need an excuse to talk about Lifeforce. So this is the Lifeforce Arrow 4K release with new art, as far as I am aware. You've got, obviously, the big spaceship, and there's Matilda's silhouette with another guy right there. Here's a bummer. The reversible art is not this. It's not the US theatrical. It's this right here, which I got to be careful because technically this is nudity on here. It's this artwork with the girls on the pod, which that's as close as I'll show it because, like I said, it's nudity. Most of you aren't going to flag this video, but I can't let the bot stuff that automatically looks at this stuff screw me over. So I'm going to keep this art on here. Now, here's an even bigger bummer. I kind of wish that they had reused the old Blu-ray art that they did for this on Blu-ray, because that art was fantastic. I would have been happy if they had redone that Blu-ray art, but this is the art that they went with. Don't hate it, but the old Blu-ray art was even better. How does this look? Like I said, the first thing I did was, of course, watch the international cut. It looked fantastic. But I will be honest and say that neither of the international cuts on the Steelbook or the 4K look bad. I'm not going to say that's a problem. And the reason I say that is because for a lot of you, I have no problem if you guys comment down below and say, Christian, I've got the Blu-ray, or I've got the old Steelbook, or I have the American 4K. That's fine for me. I'm not gonna disparage those releases. There's no point. But if you are like me and you live, eat, sleep, breathe, and shit Lifeforce, this is the release. Because the international cut, the 116-minute cut on 4K, forget about it. It looked amazing. I mean, it just looked absolutely fantastic. They did such a great job on this. This is like the perfect release for this movie. So here's the cuts we have on here. I'll read this to you guys briefly. So before we even get to that, guys, you will get a card. I actually got Trick or Treat this time. And of course, you get a little booklet that talks about the making of Lifeforce, which is nice. So there's that in there. It's all writing in there, no pictures. Audio commentary with Toby Hooper, moderated by Tim Sullivan. Audio commentary, visual effects artist Douglas Smith, moderated by filmmaker and scholar Howard S. Berger. Audio commentary with makeup effects artist Nick Maley, moderated by filmmaker Michael Felsher, shout out Slippy. Isolated music and effects tracks, cannon fodder, the making of Lifeforce, an epic look at the genesis, production, and release of the film, featuring interviews with Hooper, Michael J. Kagan, John Grover, Aubrey Morris, Nicholas Ball, Sandra Exelby, screenwriter Michael Armstrong, Vernon Messenger, art designers Tom Adams and Roger Stewart, and effects artist John Schoenrad. Space Vampires in London, an archive interview with Toby Hooper. Dangerous Beauty, an archive interview with Matilda May. Carlson's Curse, an archive interview with Steve Railsback. Textless opening sequence theatrical trailer. And on disc 2, you'll see interview outtakes from Mark Hartley's Electric Boogaloo, the wild untold story of canon films, featuring Hooper, Armstrong, Grover, and Messenger. Split scene comparison with TV version. Stacked to the gills. Got all the stuff that was on this release, put it on here, and there's that amazing documentary. This is a fantastic release. So, like I said, I just wanted to review this because I don't know how many people are actually going to review this release, but for the people that are Lifeforce fans, I had to come out and show love for this. I appreciate that Arrow did this, but it is a shame that it took this long for this movie to get the proper release it did. At least somebody out there like Arrow cared to do it. Now, if Scream Factory put this out today, they probably would have done it right. But hey, the fact is Arrow did it right for us. So if you're a big Lifeforce fan, this is the release, guys. I love it. But like I said, for a lot of you, this still may be all right. But I wanted to show love. There you have it, the Arrow Video 4K real release of Toby Hooper's 1985 cocaine classic, Lifeforce. Thank you guys for watching. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.